What up, Palm Tree? It's your boy Chillin' Dylan, Jesus of SoundCloud, Black Tom Anderson, and your favorite rapper owes me money. This is bittersweet, but I am oh so grateful to have the opportunity to present this review to you for Reckless IMPRINT. Reckless was the stage name of Jacob Nicholas Watford, a 24-year-old rapper from Cincinnati, Ohio, who was tragically killed in a car accident last year in January. He was a part of the collective For the Soul. Recently, I had the chance to review their compilation album, which you should check out too. Also, there's 4 songs at the end of that project, which I'm going to acknowledge that I didn't get to review in that one, but we're going to circle back on that. But the For the Soul project, which is executive produced by my man Spade, that is out now. Reckless, who was a member of that collective, as soon as I dropped that review, his mother reached out to me. Big thank you to Shari. She reached out to me and said that she wanted me to check out his EP, and that's what I did. And this is very bittersweet because it was just kind of a glimpse into how much potential this young man had, and it just kind of left me with so many questions, like if this kid had lived to just go on and have more life of experiences, as he progressed into adulthood, what would his music have been like? What would his life be like? I'm talking children, travel, other career things, collaborations. And it's crazy for me because, in conversations with his mom, I had mentioned that I had lost, my dad to cancer, right around that same time. And what was even crazier is that just now I looked at the release date of this project and it was on my dad's final living birthday, which was his 65th. So this touches a lot of personal levels for me. I'm just really honored and pleased to, be embraced by the Cincinnati underground hip hop scene, which we're calling the Cincy Palm Tree. So without further ado, I'm going to speak a little bit on this. Well, his sound on this project reminds me of like a middle ground between Mac Miller and Atmosphere. And I think that's because, an artist from a small city, a small Midwestern city would kind of, it would kind of fit in line with a Pittsburgh and a Minneapolis, you know? So he kind of lyricism wise and voice tone, he kind of reminds me of early Macklemore. The first track, Skyline, kind of had that super chill vibe, and I was wondering if it's about that, if that inspiration came from the famous Skyline Chili, which is a restaurant in Cincinnati. And then I'm wondering, how was this kid this young, sounding this 90s, like this. And I've heard other music from him where he sounds a lot more modern, using more auto tune and kind of singing a trap style. But this was very much a boom-bap project, and I could really appreciate this. And I'm like, even it's a good thing that the internet can still like expose a young cat to, so much older music that came before him. So I could tell Reckless was a real hip hop head. The song Costly Mistake, that piano beat and sample was oof. And again, you're going to hear me compare him a lot to Atmosphere because I think with that soul sample and that lyricism, there's definitely like something along the lines of that, And since he's always been like embracive of that sound, like how I mentioned in the last review, the Scribble Jam era, and Mr. Dibbs, who's Atmosphere's DJ, is from Cincy originally too. Um, I like how he said repping Cincinnati under my cracker skin, and he was just very comfortable in his skin, plain and simple. He was just very comfortable being him, riding around in my Prius. Reckless was not trying to be anything he wasn't. When he said 3 years I'll be rhyming with that Cole dude, I'm like, we somehow got to slip this to J. Cole, because like, he just had ambitions of collaborating with J. Cole, and I could definitely see that. When he said dropped out of school, now only my critics grade me, I'm like, well, young man, brother, you got your wish, because here I am talking about you, and I know you hearing this, and it's, I almost got emotional writing this review, and I'm almost getting emotional now. Shout out to my man Spade, who, again, looped me in with the For the Soul Collective, and this relationship is really starting to blossom. So it's a really beautiful thing. Speaking of blossom, let's talk about Industry Plant. Love the vocal effects on this one. This is definitely my favorite off the project. The beat sounds kind of J Dilla-ish. With Dublin and Ireland sipping Guinness. Just a lot of, very bar-driven lyricist type of cat. And I really appreciate that he shouts out his mom all throughout this. I can tell they had a really solid relationship. True Story, when he says what was in the beginning, what was True Story? I'm curious to what that sample was in the beginning. I'm actually going to go back and re-listen to that one. And he said, you gonna let the darkness absorb you like Anakin? Like, that was kind of fire. No Biggie, when he talks about having a therapist and mental health being relevant in the music, is really dope. Big Papa, baby, baby line. Like, yeah, it was definitely, this imprint was definitely a salute to the 90s. And I almost skipped over the song Polite Shit Talking, which he got bars on that one, as you already can tell. Love that jazz beat, too. Long story short, here's my takeaway. Again, this is bittersweet, and when I told Spade, how I was feeling as I was collecting my notes, he was like, yep, one right A&R away, and I'm like, this is why I gravitate to smaller markets, smaller than LA, and I'm just saying LA first because I'm from here, but smaller than Atlanta or New York. If you can find talent and find a sound, that's really what it's all about. And most of my supporters are artists themselves, and I'm going to leave you with this. Guys, please use social media to your advantage, because God forbid if something happens to you, you want people to see who you were and the legacy. I know it's tough being on here, and social media is not great for your mental health. However, there is a way you can really have a lasting legacy if you really use this tool for the right reasons, as a tool and not to make you look like a fool. Okay. One more time, I just want to thank Shari, Reckless's mom, for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this. This is the first, I'm not going to say posthumous review I've done, but this is the first situation where the artist has passed away and a relative has contacted me to do the review. I've had artists I've interviewed pass away, rest in peace, Catchy the Great, as well as a couple others, unfortunately. But, I have a couple, and that's too many friends who never made it to 30, So this is just kind of like the reminder that, like, hey, you know what, when you do music, part of you is like immortalized, So I don't want to, spiral into like hip hop's obsession with death, but I think that Reckless could have made and will make an impact in Cincinnati hip hop, an impact in Ohio, definitely an impact as far as the community of underground artists that I've connected with. And there's still more work to do. I'm talking to Spade about some dope things that him and I want to do together now, and get the rest of the For the Soul Collective on board. I think this is just the beginning of a really, really tight relationship that I'm gonna have with the Cincinnati underground hip hop community, and we up from there. So Reckless Imprint is out now. Let me know what you think of that in the comments, and again, peace, love, Palm. Are you an unsigned or independent artist looking for a review of your music? Well, you need to holler at Palm. Send an email to prettyawesomelitmusic@outlook.com, or just message me on Instagram.
You better follow Palm,
biatch.